Excuse me, do you have a time? Oh my god, that was really loud. You know, I was gonna do some gag with the Treasure Vault book, but I think that was funnier. Treasure Vault has been out for like a month now, give or take, depending on when you got it, because some people took longer than others, and this is one of the most useful books in Pathfinder 2e. It doesn't come with a new class or a new ancestry or anything, but it comes with hundreds of new items to spice up your gameplay. New weapons, new armor, new stabs, new wands, new assistive items, everything. This is going on to my most recommended books list for Pathfinder 2e. So I figured, let's make a top 5 video about it. There's hundreds of items in here, so which ones stood out the most to me? Howdy, my name is Nonat, and welcome to my top 5 items from Pathfinder Treasure Vault. The webcam's over there. Okay, this video's off to a great start. Now, obviously, there are hundreds of items in this book, so narrowing it down to 5 would be incredibly difficult, so I didn't. I haven't read every single item in this book, but I have glanced through the pages a number of times, and so this top 5 is the 5 that really stood out the most to me as either most useful, most game-changing, most innovative, all those different things. These aren't the top 5 strongest or the top 5 most helpful. They're just my 5 favorite new items that I've read from Treasure Vault. We're gonna start incredibly simple here because there is beauty in simplicity, and I like when monkey brain get happy because number go up. I'm talking about the Fortress Shield. This is the next step up from a tower shield, and on top of that, it's the only shield in the game that gives a +3 armor class when you raise shield, all the way up to +4 if you take cover behind it. Yeah, this is bigger and heavier than a tower shield, and it's represented by the Hefty trait. Basically, because it says Hefty 14, if you don't have at least 14 strength, raising this shield takes 2 actions. And I really like this as a balancing mechanic, because honestly, up to this point, Pathfinder 2e's armor class system has been a little bit hit or miss, in the way that dexterity is typically just as good as really heavy-duty armor. A monk with massive dexterity will pretty much have the same armor class as a champion in full plate mail, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but it's nice that strength and constitution-based tanks like a full plate champion or fighter is getting this little leg up, you know? Because this is going to stack on top of bonuses to your armor runes and everything. This is effectively a permanent +1 to armor class if you buy it, but I do like that it's not available right at character creation. Similar to the aforementioned full plate mail armor, this is a level 1 item, which is not available during character creation, and on top of that, it costs 20 gold pieces anyway when you only start with 15. So you're not going to start with this, but it is a nice little early game upgrade you can pick up. You know, maybe after your first big quest as a level 1 champion, you got 100 gold, or maybe that's even only once you're level 2 you've got 100 gold, because that's a lot of gold, but then you can spend 70 of that, 20 on the Fortress Shield, and 50 on your full plate, and all of a sudden, bang, you're super hard to hit. And like, if you can get that Fortress Shield at level 1 with like a starting AC of 17 or 18, and you bump that up to 20 or 21 when you raise shield, you are not getting crit outside of nat 20s. It's a lovely, simple little shield upgrade for early game, and in a game where specific magical shields weren't super common up to this point, it's a welcome addition. Did I say that was number 1 or number 5? Because that was number 5. We're going in order of my personal favorites up to number 4, the Bagpipes of Turmoil. This is a new type of item known as a coda instrument. Putting it incredibly simply, it is a staff that specifically only holds occult spells and can only be used by bards because it's a specific instrument. Looking at this as a purely mechanical arbitrary item, it's basically just a staff with some occult spells in it and a single special action. But the flavor and everything about this item and the way it's written is just unparalleled. Allow me to regale you with the description of the Bagpipes of Turmoil. You're welcome. While those who appreciate bagpipes may like the sound of the grey reed and black leather instrument, its real purpose is to sow turmoil against the performer's enemies, spreading discord with each note. How was that? Was that good or was that offensive? While utilizing the bagpipes, you get a +1 to your performance checks and +1 to demoralize checks. Additionally, just look at the spells that come with this item. Daze, Bane, at higher levels, Deafness, Knock, Agonizing Despair is my freaking favorite. Your bagpipes can cast Agonizing Despair, Painful Vibrations. Oh, at one point it becomes Crushing Despair. Just, they have taken the memey hatred of the bagpipe and turned it into a magic item for Pathfinder 2e bards. It's not that great. At the end of the day, it's just a staff. But the pure written flavor expressed through spell selection is what gives this the number 4 spot. Hey, real quick, sliding in here to go ahead and plug myself. The No Not Game channel is officially live. We are doing some live streams here on the main channel, which you might have seen, but they're being edited down into digestible little 20-30 minute videos over on the No Not Game channel. I just uploaded our One God Boon Run challenge for Hades. It was a lot of fun. Had some people in chat in there. Really, really good. It was really hard. Do I win or not? Check out the video. Thank you all so much. If you're just wanting some more No-Nat content, that is a great place to get it. Link at the top of the description. Thank you. Back to Pathfinder. The number 3 spot, however, goes to a war crime. If you watched my live stream going over Treasure Vault a while back, you know exactly what I'm talking about because we couldn't stop looking at it for about 5 minutes straight. This is, of course, the Blightburn bomb, or as it's more commonly known, the Cancer bomb. Yes, I'm censoring it because I don't know if YouTube would demonetize me over it. At first glance, it's not too bad. Grants an item bonus to attack rolls, deals some poison damage, deals some persistent poison damage, and poison splash damage. So it's a lot of bonus poison damage, but what makes it so special compared to like a poisonous normal bomb? Well, to start with, when the target gets hit by the Blightburn bomb, they are coated with a radioactive liquid that continuously deals splash damage every single turn until they recover from the persistent poison damage. That's already super clever, that because a creature is so inherently radioactive, it is dealing damage to everything around it constantly. That's awesome. And the damage is fine. 3d6 poison, 3d4 persistent poison, radiating 3 splash damage. It's fine for a level 15 item. But the reason this is known as the Cancer bomb and a war crime is because Blightburn bombs also expose the primary target to Blightburn sickness. I'm going to read this word for word so you know exactly why this is called the Cancer bomb. Caused by exposure to Blightburn crystal, Blightburn sickness burns and dissolves the afflicted creature from within. The target cannot recover from the disease's drained or sickened condition except by magic. It's typically a 15th level affliction with a DC 32 fortitude save, but exposure in other forms can change this DC. If you fail your first check, you are drained 1, and then a day goes by. If you fail again, you are drained 1 and sickened 1. Another day, drained 2 and sickened 2. Let's pause here. You are now missing 2 times your level in max HP, and you're taking a -2 penalty to every single check you make, including future fortitude saves against this disease. But luckily, you don't have to make another check for a week, at which point if you fail, you're drained 3 and sickened 3. After a month, your drained condition goes up by 1. Sickened caps out at 3, which is nice. And another nice thing, you're not going to make another check for 1 full in-game year. But after that year, your drain condition goes up by 1. The messed up part about this is just how slowly it kills you. If you're level 10, then every year your max HP goes down by 10. But if it hits 0, you just die. The terrifying part about this isn't the inherent penalties, which are brutal, but it's just how slowly it kills you and how slowly it reduces your max HP. Personally, I don't think I would ever use this on a player, as that sounds incredibly mean, and being at a permanent -3 to everything is not fun, but having this afflict like a town of people while really, really fucked up would still be really interesting as a plot point to try to figure out a way to cleanse them. I love this item. I think it is messed up. I think it's really, really cool. And I bet players could even get clever if they have access to their big bad guy maybe isn't a spellcaster. They afflict them with Blightburn sickness and just run away, and then the big bad guy just slowly dies. My number 2 item is actually just a 3rd level piece of equipment, and that is the Thrower's Bandolier. The reason this is so high up my list is because it finally gives a physically rules as written way to make a thrown weapon build that works without the returning rune. The Thrower's Bandolier starts off as just a +1 piece of equipment, and anytime you attune a weapon to it, say a dagger, you put it in the bandolier, and that dagger is now a +1 dagger. You throw it, when you pick it back up and stow it back in, it's still a +1 dagger. This is because every single rune on the bandolier gets replicated on the items inside the bandolier, which means you're also not stuck to one type of weapon. Your bandolier can be full of throwing axes, throwing knives, shock drums, anything you want. Maybe like rocks, I don't know. But that's not all it does. On top of replicating the runes onto every weapon in the bandolier, for 2 actions, you can teleport all associated items back into their slot on the bandolier. So even in the middle of combat, if you've thrown all 8 of your daggers and you're out, well, for 2 actions, you can get all of them back. You don't need to waste a property slot on the returning rune for just 1 throwing weapon anymore, and you don't need to enchant 4 or 5 different throwing weapons. This allows a rules as written way for the thrown weapon character to work, and I think it's amazing. Throwing weapons have always really struggled in Pathfinder 2e. There's not a whole lot of feat support, and a lot of the classes don't really lend themselves to using thrown weapons because they're often dexterity to hit and strength to damage, which is brutal. And while I don't think this magic item just fixes thrown weapons entirely, it does make them so much more manageable when all you need to worry about is enchanting the bandolier and not the associated weapons. I don't know if it was made clear or not, but you can put more runes on the bandolier. You can upgrade that +1 to a +2. You can put striking, you can put flaming, you can put anything you want on the bandolier as though it were a weapon, and that applies to the weapons attuned to it. It's freaking awesome, and it's a great way for Paizo to make an item that complements an underutilized playstyle. And finally, the number 1 item in Treasure Vault is kind of cheating for me, but you all know what it is. It is the Ursine Avenger's hood. This is an item I cannot go into great detail on here because it's just so deep, but I will give you a teaser, and then later on down the line, I'm going to make a video about it. The Ursine Avenger's hood is an archetype. What do I mean by that? I mean, this is an archetype your character can take feats in only if they have the item. It is known as an artifact archetype, and by putting on and attuning to the Ursine Avenger hood, you gain the ability to take archetype feats related to the Ursine Avenger hood. These range from turning you into a bear to upgrading different bear abilities, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go over what the hood does by itself. While wearing it, the wearer gets a permanent +1 to nature checks to command an animal, increased to +2 if the animal is a bear. But if you've been in a city or other civilized locale for more than 5 days, you actually take a -1 penalty to all diplomacy checks. That's all it does by itself. But once you invest a level 2 character feat into it, you unlock the real purpose of the hood. Putting the hood on over your head turns you into a bear form. You get a 1d8 jaws attack, a 1d6 claws attack, and the best freaking part, you can no longer speak languages. So you can just be a totally normal person like Ezrin the Wizard, say, and be like, "Oh, I am old Ezrin. I would like to regale you about scrolls and spells and..." They're
the same picture.
I love this item. I love that it's unlocked a whole new way you can build a character. Granted, you would have to work with your GM to make sure you can get this item, or as a GM, you can present it to your players and say, hey, whoever wants this can start going down this tree. Because I didn't mention, this isn't just a couple of feats. This has a feat for every single feat level in the game. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. This one item can become an integral part of your character and their development mechanically, which is so cool. Again, I'm gonna make a video going more in depth later. I absolutely love the Ursine Avenger hood, and I absolutely love the artifact archetype system. We've only gotten 2, I believe, but I'm hoping we're gonna get a whole lot more. So there you go, my top 5 items in Treasure Vault. I absolutely adore this book. Again, I think it is a must-have for anybody who has invested in Pathfinder 2e. You know, get your core rulebook, your APG, and bestiaries first, and then if you're looking for a new book, grab Treasure Vault. I would say grab this before Secrets of Magic or Guns and Gears. Sure, you don't get a class, but you get so many options available to your characters. I think it does more for you. So that's all from me. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel because it helps out so much. We are closing in on that 50K, which is absolutely staggering. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, no nat ones. Hey, real quick, sliding in here to go ahead and plug myself. The No Nat Game channel is officially live. We are doing some live streams here on the main channel, which you might have seen, but they're being edited down into digestible little 20-30 minute videos over on the No Nat Game channel. I just uploaded our One God Boon Run challenge for Hades. It was a lot of fun. Had some people in chat in there. Really, really good. It was really hard. Do I win or not? Check out the video. Thank you all so much. If you're just wanting some more No Nat content, that is a great place to get it. Link at the top of the description. Thank you. Back to Pathfinder.